The Bengals bolstered their pass rush with Myles Murphy with the 28th overall pick on Thursday night. What will they do on day 2 of the 2023 NFL Draft? Let's get into their options, some different scenarios, and positions they could address. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien here at Paycor Stadium, where the Bengals, well, they added Myles Murphy. Who's next? We're going to get into that in just a second. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and remember that our draft coverage is brought to you by Rivertown Inquiry and rivertowninquiry.com. Make sure that you check out both of their locations, whether it's the Findlay Market location or the original, the OG Hyde Park Oakley location in Madison Road, about 10 minutes from downtown Cincinnati. Also, rivertowninquiry.com. Look, the Bengals, I like the pick overall. I gave it a B+. And Myles Murphy, say what you want, bolster your pass rush. He was clearly the best player on their board. I'm not going to knock him for it, even if I wasn't all in on the Myles Murphy train before the draft. That's fine. Not my guy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be my guy. Just has to get after opposing quarterbacks. It's that simple to me. So what do they do on day 2? And I think it's interesting. The Bengals have the 60th overall pick on Friday, today, and the 92nd overall pick, round 2, round 3. A couple of things played out, I think, in the Bengals' favor so far. And some people are talking about, well, Joey Porter Jr., but he's probably not going to be there. And, Michael Mayer, well, he may be there, he may not. But let's focus on those positions, because there's no doubt that the Bengals want to address cornerback. They want to address tight end in this draft. The fact that Michael Mayer is there, that Joey Porter Jr. is there, that Cam Smith out of South Carolina is there, and Darius Rush and DJ Turner out of Michigan, all of these cornerbacks, that's great news for the Bengals. Because you're looking at it, and not only is Will Levis at some point going to go off the board, but you have multiple corners. I mean, you're talking 5-6 corners that you'd probably be interested in at pick 60. You're talking about multiple tight ends now. Darnell Washington escaped the first round. I tried to tell you it was going to happen. And who knows how far he falls. So there's one. Michael Mayer probably goes, but we'll add him to this group. Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State. Sam LaPorta, Tucker Kraft. So there's 5 tight ends. Can one of them fall to 60? That was my prediction in the mock draft. Obviously, I was way off on Jahmyr Gibbs. I had no idea he would go 12th overall. But in the second round, I said one of those tight ends is going to fall to 60. Now, which one will it be? I don't know. And I don't even know if the Bengals take a tight end at 60, because what if a corner like Cam Smith is still available? That feels like a pretty good pick. DJ Turner, I've mocked him earlier in the process. Round 2, if DJ Turner's there, you take Dax Hill's former running mate, and you're able to plug him into that secondary, you feel really good about it. The other day 2 possibility, well, there's 2 that I want to talk about, and one is running back. And I think there's only really one running back that could be an option at 60, Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. He's the consensus 3rd running back in this draft. I don't know if he'll be there, especially with the way the running backs have gone quick. Now, Bijan and Gibbs, those are different guys, for sure. Different play styles, all of those things. They're much flashier, I would say, than a guy like Zach Charbonnet. But Charbonnet is a 3-down back. And so if he's there at 60, certainly a contender, certainly someone the Bengals would consider. But the scenario that I think is going to make a lot of you happy that I'm talking about, as I lean on the Bengals press conference room here on their podium, and I could totally see Zach Taylor right here and Brian Callahan right here on Friday evening today, and it is today as I record this, is Dawand Jones, the Ohio State offensive tackle, the right tackle, 6'8", 374 pounds at the combine. He had an awful pre-draft process. He made it out of round 1. I didn't think there was a chance in hell he was getting picked in round 1, and he didn't. I think that there's a real possibility if he's there at 60, the Bengals would be tempted to take him. And why wouldn't you be? You're talking about a giant at right tackle who is good on film. It's not like he has bad film. What he had was a bad pre-draft process where he didn't test. He didn't do any of the agility drills. So footwork, speed, all of those things, you don't know what it is. He ran the 40-yard dash, and he ran it well for his size, but that's it. Showed up at the Senior Bowl, left after one day. an impressive day, but he left after one day. That rubs people the wrong way. Didn't weigh in at his pro day, concerns about his weight. If he's there at 60, I think the Bengals would consider him. And so the answer would be, oh, why? What if he has a poor attitude? Well, if they feel comfortable with his attitude, that's one thing. But the other part is you don't find many 6'8", 375-pound humans that can block like he can. And putting him on the opposite side of Orlando Brown Jr., that would be quite a duo. So keep an eye on a guy like Dawand Jones if he somehow falls to 60. He's fallen this far. There's a chance he continues to fall. Might be unlikely, but tight ends, cornerbacks, Charbonnet, Jones. If I had to give you a big board, that's it for me. So you're talking about 10 to 12 guys. You could go defensive tackle if you wanted to, but they already addressed the defensive line with a guy who, in Myles Murphy, expected to be able to play inside, play on the edge as well. And let's get to day 3 here because I think, or not day 3, round 3, excuse me, at pick 92. First guy I'll mention, running back, because it doesn't feel like they'll address running back in round 2. Maybe they do with Charbonnet, but it doesn't feel like they're going to. And so if that's the case, Roschon Johnson, certainly in the mix out of Texas. If he happens to be there at pick 92, I think they'd be really excited about him. Tyjae Spears, he has the knee question, the medical question, but he's Jahmyr Gibbs light to me. Can catch the ball out of the backfield, is explosive, all of the things you're looking for. Can be a 3-down back, I think, if you need him to. And I don't know if the Bengals feel that way. I certainly like him. Would they be willing to take him at 92? I don't know, because I think the medicals could cause him to slide a little bit. And so I think that one's interesting. Other guys that round 3 just seems a little rich. Devin Achane out of Texas A&M. He's just really light, really thin. I'm not sure if they could go that route. So we'll see there. But overall, I think that running back, round 3, certainly a possibility. If they went tight end, you're talking about Luke Schoonmaker, Zach Kuntz, someone like that. I don't think the other guys I mentioned fall to 92. So that's the challenging part, right? Do you go with a Dawand Jones or a Zach Charbonnet and miss out on one of the tight ends, and then you fall to that next tier? That's the debate that they've already had, I'm sure, and then they just pay attention to their board and follow their board, which has led them to make some really good picks in the mid-rounds in recent years. So we'll see if that continues. Darius Rush out of South Carolina. I mentioned Cam Smith. Darius Rush could be a contender at pick 92. That's certainly someone that I think they could go after. And then let me look at my list here, and I'll stay on. You'll still hear me, but I just want to make sure I hit on everybody. Oh, Tyreek Stevenson, Julius Brents, 2 guys in round 2 that they could certainly take. Outside of that, Zach Harrison, Isaiah Foskey, probably both out now that you have that defensive end. I'm trying to think of who else that they would potentially. Oh, Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller is one to pay attention to. TCU and Jaden Reed. If they go the receiver route, and I think they could go the receiver route at some point, rounds 3 to 5 or rounds 3 on. I think rounds 3 is where it starts, and that might be a little early. But Jaden Reed could be in the mix. Kendre Miller is interesting, though, out of TCU. So that's another running back to pay attention to, I think, at that 92nd spot. So those are some guys that I think could be contenders today. And honestly, in a perfect world, I love the idea of getting Dawand Jones. I do. Solve that right tackle spot. Have just a mammoth of a man that if you feel comfortable drafting him and you think he's going to come in and be able to follow Orlando Brown Jr.'s lead, they're similar guys from a size standpoint, then roll with them. But if you could get Joe Burrow, Sam LaPorta, or you could get Joe Burrow into Darnell Washington, if that's the guy you're in on, or insert any of these tight ends, if you really, Luke Musgrave, I think would be a lot of fun in this offense. There are a lot of guys to discuss, and that's something that the Bengals are going to have to go after. I think if I had to make a prediction, 1-pick offense, 1-pick defense, because cornerback's in there. I mean, cornerback is in there, man. I think they have to. So I would say 1-pick offense, 1-pick defense on day 2, and then it'll probably be a more offensive-heavy day 3. 4 picks on one side, 3 picks on the other, assuming they stick with their 7 selections. The first one, as you know, went with Myles Murphy. Make sure you check out our other videos. My thoughts on Myles Murphy, extensive thoughts on him, the Clemson defensive end. that the Bengals took with a 28th overall pick. And you can also see Zach Taylor and Lou Anarumo, what they had to say about the selection. And also later today, when the Bengals make their 60th pick and the 92nd pick, or if they trade up or they trade down, we're going to have reaction right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. You're going to hear from coaches. You're going to get my analysis and so much more. Plus, we may have an interview with Myles Murphy coming in the near future. So buckle up for that. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell. Check out rivertowninquiry.com. And until next time, for Andrew Fox Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.